Good morning, and again, thanks for everybody for coming down so we can provide some updates. I just want to make a few introductions. On my right here is Sheriff Alan Moore with Saline County, Colonel John Bolduc with the Nebraska State Patrol, Special Agent in charge with the FBI Field Office in Omaha, Randy Theise. Not present here today, but an integral part of this ongoing investigation is Sheriff Jeff Franklin from Clay County. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Randy.
Thanks, Chief. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for this important developments in the ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Sidney Loofe. Yesterday afternoon, December 4th, a body was discovered in rural Clay County. At this time, we believe it to be the body of Sidney Loofe, pending forensic analysis. Once we have full confirmation, we'll update you at that time. On behalf of the FBI, we extend our deepest heartfelt condolences to Sidney's parents, George and Susie, her brother and sister, her friends, and all that were very fortunate enough to know her. This investigation is ongoing, and we are committed from the very beginning with our law enforcement partners to you, the public, is that we are indeed conducting a very thorough investigation to ensure we can provide an accurate account of what happened to Sidney. An investigation like this takes resources and time. We ask for your patience as we continue to fulfill our promise. Our priority is to protect the integrity of this investigation. We provide updates, and we will provide updates when appropriate. I'd like to thank each agency present today for their commitment to this very sensitive investigation. I've personally witnessed the caliber of investigation, the caliber of the investigators that have been working on this case. We've been working very hard, and I have not heard the word no once from any agency in trying to get this done. It's been really an all hands on deck endeavor. I'm extremely proud of the team, and there's a lot of work to still be done. And I think it's very important to know that we truly have the best and the brightest working on this investigation. Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Gotcha. With that, we will field a few questions, keeping in mind that there's a lot of people in this room and we have some limited time, but Riley.
What led to the discovery and, or who discovered the body?
So the investigative efforts, and we've already talked a lot about the digital footprints and the time that it has taken us to analyze all of that information. But it truly was a collaborative process through analysis of the digital evidence and then putting people on the ground, including the Nebraska State Patrol and Sheriff Jeff Franklin and his people in Clay County, that led to the actual discovery.
Is there any evidence that you can share at this point as to what happened to her or how long she was there?
Those are very good questions and ones that we are working to answer. But as far as right now, we don't know the answer to those questions conclusively, and we'd be amiss to provide any kind of statement in advance of the forensic testing that Randy made reference to and the autopsy that will be forthcoming.
Was it all digital, or was the interviews with the two parties who have been detained part of this?
It definitely was a collaboration of some of that, but the discovery of who we believe to be Sidney Loofe in Clay County was primarily that because of the analysis and then the people on the ground based upon that information, isolating the search area and then putting people there. Jeff.
Where at in Clay County was the body located? Like near what community? Can you tell us that right now?
It's in rural Clay County. We really don't want to provide an exact location. I can tell you it's in an open area. It's not in an urban environment, and we've closed that area off completely through our law enforcement partners, mainly with the Nebraska State Patrol and the Clay County Sheriff's Office. So all of the investigators have an opportunity to thoroughly examine the evidence that has been found.
Do you have officers down there too, in addition?
We do. Right prior to this, I had asked Cody Thomas about how many. There's probably about 40 different law enforcement officers in that area as we speak. Some of them are tasked with the administration. Most are responsible for the search itself. Keeping in mind that this is an open area, and while we can isolate the crime scene itself, we have to take due diligence and make sure that we're covering a very large open space. William, I think you had a question, sir?
Since being detained, have the persons of interest been cooperative? Have they been cooperating at a pretty good level?
We continue to we're continuing to speak with Aubrey Trail, and we'll continue to do so as long as he's willing to do that.
Do you still consider him a person of interest in this case?
Both Aubrey Trail and Bailey Boswell are considered persons of interest in the disappearance of Sydney Loofe. They are currently not charged with any offense directly related to this investigation. One thing that I do want to point out is the fact that we do not believe, the partners here do not believe, that there is any ongoing risk to the safety of the public based upon this investigation. Yes, ma'am.
Billy Boswell had mentioned that Sydney may have been dropped off at a friend's house. Have you been able to vet that?
You're referring to the social media posts made by Bailey Boswell and Aubrey Trail that's a few days ago, maybe a week ago now. And we have extensively explored the statements that have been made by her. I can tell you that the investigative efforts have not been able to confirm those particular details. We'll still work towards that end. But again, the analysis of the digital footprint led us to the discovery of who we believe to be Sydney.
Do you guys have any type of court date for the two people of interest on the other charges, the warrants that were set?
I'll defer to you. Not sure yet?
No, I'm not sure.
Alan, do you know that for certain as far as the...
As far as the Saline County, we are holding off on that date at this point. So,
A few more questions.
Can you,
Yes, ma'am.
why can you guys not confirm that it is Sydney? Why do you keep saying what we believe to be Sydney?
Right. It's a very good question. What one in investigations like this, in all investigations like this, we want to, one, be able to provide feedback to the family in a very timely basis. And that's what we have done. We also oftentimes will wait till we can conclusively say through different testing means that this is who this particular person is. And that's why we're making the statement that we believe that it's Sydney. We have a strong belief based upon the entirety of the investigative process, but actual confirmation will come following the other testing, including the autopsy itself.
Two more.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain how both Trail and Boswell are connected to this? You've just said they're persons of interest at this point.
Sure. By their own statements on social media, we believe that Aubrey Trail and Bailey Boswell were two of the last people to have known to been with Sydney prior to her disappearance. And that's why they continue to be persons of interest in this investigation.
Is Boswell not cooperating with you?
Andrew, at this point, I would not answer that particular question and more towards the investigative process itself. One more question, and I think we're done.
Chief, did you guys, did your investigators find evidence of foul play when they recovered her body, or?
We do believe that there is evidence of foul play, and will continue throughout the day through the search and then the subsequent pathology examination determine exactly what that is.
Do you know when the autopsies,
I do not. That's a good question, but it has not been scheduled as of right now. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
One last thing too, and I know all of you will do this because you've helped so much throughout this investigation. But George and Susie and their entire family are going through a very tragic time. And I would just ask that you respect their privacy and allow them the opportunity to grieve. Thank you.